After a week off to another episode of Semi-Pro Gridiron Rant. Just want to take a couple minutes here to thank you, the audience, for hit 13 episodes. And in those 13 episodes, we've actually had over 1,500 YouTube downloads. So we definitely appreciate you viewing us on YouTube. And surprisingly, even almost 600 Audible downloads on all the podcast channels across there. Really picked up the last 45 days. So really appreciate you guys joining and listening. And I hope you appreciate the content. If you ever have any questions, comments, or concerns, you can always reach me at semi-pro-gridiron-rant@gmail.com. We take suggestions as well. So today we're bringing in one of my previous coaches from my Watertown days. He's been all over the world and the country, and he's been doing a little bit of this, doing a little bit of that. He's going to tell us his story, pretty much what brought him to Watertown and what he's up to today. So let's welcome in Coach Sam Kleinbeck. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing great, man. How are you, Ken?
I'm living the dream. Loving and ranting the football world, of course.
Heck yeah, man. I watch you every week when you guys put something on.
Definitely appreciate you doing that. Appreciate you following us from out there. So listen, let's get into it real quick. Let's start your football journey. I know it's a long one. And then let's work our way towards what you're up to today, which is pretty cool and exciting. And so let's start there. What got you into football and or semi-pro football? Start wherever you'd like.
Well, of course, we all played high school ball. We all got to start somewhere.
Exactly.
Back in the Pee-wees, up into high school. Played football at Northwestern. Did 4 years up there and got drafted by the Toronto Argonauts. And, well, that was short-lived. I got cut pretty quick. Wasn't quite good enough for that level. And then I got into coaching. A coach of mine, I went back home with my tail between my legs, thinking that was it for my football career. And there was my old high school football coach spinning the whistle on his finger. And he goes, Sam, you know the game. Let's become a coach. You got your education degree and you're a teacher. Let's put you on the gridiron and see what you can do. And yeah, he set me up for success. He was building a program, and he gift wrapped a program for me. So kind of did that for a while. Had a lot of success. High school ball. Then 9/11 happened, so I felt it was my duty to join the military and do my part. Mom and dad were both in the military, and so family trait, so to speak. Of course, I got tired being broke, being a high school teacher. That kind of swayed me a little bit.
Well, we appreciate your service.
People talk about the military not making money. You did all right. Thank you.
Right. No, thank you.
Of course, I went through training, and then I kind of coached wherever I was at with the military, and then I made my way up to Watertown and kind of talked to the high school coaches, but they stacked there in Watertown. My pro league here, there I came. I sauntered out over to the Watertown Red and Black, and you and a bunch of those other guys, making fun of the new guy. And I took my razzing for a year like you're supposed to. It's kind of difficult coaching adults instead of kids. High school kids are easy to yell at. I yell at you guys. You kind of shut down, roll your eyes at me.
Right.
So I had to look quick. That was a different league, different level.
Mm-hmm.
Talk to you like men, and that you act a little better.
Right.
Left Watertown. Same story. Went to the next duty station, coached some high school ball. Until it was time to retire, I moved up to Kansas at Fort Riley, and this is where I retired out of the military.
So you're in Kansas now?
Yep, Abilene, Kansas.
Very cool. Very cool. So let's, before we get into what your today brings, let's talk a little bit about, so you played D1 ball. A couple of those things I didn't know. I didn't know you played D1 ball. So what position did you play in college?
I was a tight end just like you, brother.
That a baby. All right. How did I not know that? How did I know? I probably knew that and forgot, to be honest with you. And then, so you went to the Argonauts, you said?
Yep.
And so you were in camp there.
Split end or something out there.
Yeah, split end. Okay. Yeah. Well, they don't run too many tights, right? Because that's a throwing league, so they'll spread you out a little bit.
Yeah,
okay.
and I was a blocking tight end, so
right.
Just didn't fit.
I know that feeling. So how long were you there? Just the one camp?
Yeah, I made it out of camp, and then I got cut, pretty much first cut.
Okay. Hey, it's further than 99% of the people listening to this show got. So, that's something to be proud of. That's for sure.
Yeah, I
Um,
knew I
s-
did wrong. I was sitting there going, yeah, one of these things is not like the other, and I was that guy.
yeah, it's funny. There's times where, as a player in high school, I always stepped on the field and I wanted to, I convinced myself I was the best player on the field. Even though you look back at game tape now, I'm like, no, I wasn't, but I had to convince myself I was. But it seems as you get older, you kind of look and say, wow, that dude's a hell of an athlete. I wish I could be like that guy. And you start to understand the difference between fooling yourself to be better and to seeing somebody who's better and then realizing if you're there or not. So, so you coached a little bit in high school. You came to Watertown. Now, did you find the team online or at the time they had websites? I don't think the
The high
YouTube and
school
all
coach
that wasn't.
pointed me that direction.
Oh, okay. Watertown High.
Yep, they already had an offensive coordinator, and they're pretty set. I mean, that guy was pretty skilled. So, and that's what I did. I was head coach and offensive coordinator, and they needed a defensive coordinator, and so talked to George over there, and he goes, "Yeah, I'm looking for someone to run my offense."
Okay, great. And then, so that first year you came in and we were breaking your balls. Did you call the plays that year? I forget.
I did. Yep.
You did, right? And then, man, I'm so old now. All my years blend into each other. It's hard to separate them all. So who was QB years you were there? Was Dougie still there?
Yeah, Dougie was there.
Okay, and then was
Watched you.
okay. So you had Al, or
Yep,
was it East?
had a really good team.
Yeah, Easton wasn't tailback there yet, right? You still had Countryman.
Countryman and Eastman came back for a little bit.
Okay, is that when he got hurt?
Yeah, he got hurt and came back, and then he's like mid-season there. So
Gotcha. Yeah, because he tore his ACL the year before. Okay, so what was that? Was that 04, 05?
04, no, yeah, 04, 05 ish. Yeah, I'm old too.
Yeah,
So
yeah, something like that. Right. Yeah, because Wolf was there 03, and I think you came in after Wolf, right? Year right after Wolf, and then after you was Dan Carr.
yep.
Which Dan's on in a few weeks too, so that'll be cool. We can kind of line them all up. So let's refresh offense when we were there. Do you remember our record roughly? Do you remember the years we were playing? How well we did?
Yeah, we lost in the championship game.
Oh yeah, one of those years. Yeah, we were always the bridesmaid, never the bride, unfortunately.
Yeah.
We had a few of those seasons, unfortunately.
Got
Great
to the
team.
show and couldn't finish it.
Yeah, we got several years in a row.
Wonderful team.
Yeah, just couldn't put it together, unfortunately. So, but that was a good run. So you leave Watertown after a couple. Was it 2 years you're at Drum?
Yeah, 2 years.
So 2 years, and then
with
you
a
said
deployment there at the end.
Yeah, with the late deployment, and then actually, I think you're on my helmet. Hold on a second. Well, maybe not. These were all the years that this was the year that everybody deployed, and we had.
Oh.
I put them all on as they left, and actually had Coach Connell on there, who unfortunately passed away.
Yep.
He was actually on there, and then we ended up giving we had some ribbons and stuff made for him on there too. But I thought maybe I had you on that one, but maybe not. But yeah, so you went from there, and then you went to where'd you say you went to? Kansas, where you're at now?
No, I went to Sierra Vista, Arizona.
Oh, Arizona. Okay.
Yeah, basically I went from 30 minutes to the border on the north and 30 minutes to the border on the south.
From snow to heat instantly.
Oh yeah.
So did you coach there in Arizona?
Oh yeah, coached 3 years under Kent Holland. Great coach. I learned a lot from him.
Okay. Was that high school ball or semi-pro ball? What level?
High school ball.
Okay. And you were OC there?
Yep. OC. I did the first 2 years as the OC, and then our defensive coordinator was fired. And then I had some defense experience, but the head coach, Kent, was a better offensive, so I switched over to defense.
Okay.
The defense.
Okay, so how was that? That's that's one thing. My first year when I went head coach, when we started the Revolution, I basically coached both sides of the ball. And what was your thought process of converting to defense versus coaching offense all those years?
Actually, it's fairly easy. I mean, as an offensive coordinator, you spend your whole life learning defenses and schemes and what they're going to do and tendencies, and so I just kind of went from studying to calling. It actually wasn't as hard as I thought it was going to be.
Really? I struggled with reverse psychology on myself. So sometimes I was like, "Oh, what would I do here? Oh, I'm gonna predict this, so I'm gonna try to trick myself." And so I was trying to, I was basically going too many steps. So once I toned it down, I ended up turning my team basically into a read defense. In other words, I studied film to the point where I studied the tendency, and whatever they came out in, they would only run maybe 2 or 3 plays per formation. So I would tell my defense, call this in this formation, call that in this formation. I'd blitz a certain people based on the formation they'd come out in. And it worked out for us. I mean, for only having one coach, I pretty much let my captains call basically based on what we trained during the week. And, and we went from there. And we had a pretty decent year for a first year team. So, we went 500 on a startup team, and so I thought that was pretty good. But it was difficult at first because I definitely caught myself over coaching or over analyzing instead of just saying, "Listen, dude, it's not going to be that tricky. Just play the game." And so it took me a little bit to adjust there. But cool that you made an easy transition. So you go from Arizona and then you transfer one more time.
Yep, my last duty station here is Fort Riley. I didn't get to coach here. That's kind of when I got into MMA. So we're gonna start the MMA story.
Absolutely.
Yeah, when I got here, I've always been a boxer. I boxed Golden Gloves as a kid, and wrestled a little bit until I learned how to dunk a basketball. And then the coach said, "No, you need to play basketball." So yeah, I was always into combatives of some sort, and even in the Army, I mean, they have combatives, jiu-jitsu style stuff. And when I moved to Raleigh, I joined a jiu-jitsu gym. And there I met the coach of the Fort Riley combatives team and tried out. And next thing you know, I was their heavyweight combatives and won the All Army 3 years in a row.
Oh, wow.
The heavyweight, and started reffing around the country MMA. So, I did some Bellator and just kind of local referee stuff doing MMA. And yeah, and then when it was time for me to retire, I kept reffing. And I saw there was a lot of issues with the small promotions. Basically, they were using the athletes like cattle. They were just there to make a buck. So I'm trying to change the game a little bit and try to pay those guys more and give them better facilities to warm up in and work out in, and not just throw them in a corner and say, "Good luck, go fight."
Right.
So I'm trying to change the game a little bit. And
so you're not chewing up the athletes, which is cool. So number one, you didn't realize you were that. I mean, I knew you're a badass, but I didn't know you're that big of a badass. You winning all these combative competitions across the country. You're the heavyweight. You said 3 years?
3 years in a row, yeah.
Damn.
At 40-some years old guy.
Yeah. So, folks, if you run into Sam in a dark alley, make sure he's on your side and not on the other team. If he is, get the hell out of there. So
no,
Coach,
you're fine. I'm old now.
So, Coach, explain a little bit. So
my daughter beats me up.
There you go. Well, your daughter's a fighter, right? Isn't one of your daughters a fighter?
Yeah, she's a professional.
Yeah. So yeah. So exactly. So he's got a pro daughter in the MMA world. He's got a gym. He's got the promoter's side of it, right, promotion company. So explain how that went from basically you kind of explained a little bit of where you thought there was a hole in the promotion based on they were using athletes and spitting them out. But, it kind of starts from the beginning when you got to where you're at now in Kansas, and then you kind of get there and you start goofing around. I imagine you're working out in a gym somewhere and, kind of start your story there. Let's dive into that a little bit.
Yeah, I was working out a gym in Manhattan Combative Sports Center. Great gym. Treats his athletes well. And coaching's coaching. I mean, when it's in your blood, it's in your blood. So I started working with some of the younger guys, and especially on their boxing. A lot of them had issues, and their gym is known more for jiu-jitsu. And so sometimes their stand-up wasn't so good. So I kind of helped out when I could and did some stand-up. And when I retired and I kind of moved away from that area and there was really no gyms around me. So what do you do when there's nothing around you? You do it yourself. So I started my own gym. So now I'm kind of coaching and promoting, and Yeah, I'm busy.
So I was gonna say, sounds like it keeps you busy. So how many athletes do you have under your promotion?
Well, I have a professional athlete and a couple amateurs, so we're still building up.
Mm-hmm.
But the gym has 30 or 40 people in it, but actual fighters, we only have like 3 or 4.
Okay. And it's now you teach the stand-up portion. Do you have like a pro come in to teach the jiu-jitsu or ground game at all?
I did. I partnered up with Frank Portillo. He's a black belt in Brazilian jiu-jitsu, a kickboxer, and so he does all the other stuff.
Okay.
I just
Now,
work the hands out.
okay. And when you, let's say an athlete comes to you, are you recruiting, or does an athlete just show up and say, "Hey, Sam, I saw you on YouTube, or I saw you on, wherever you're promoting, and I think I could, give this a whirl." How's that work?
Yeah, a lot of them are straight out of the streets, and believe it or not, most of them are wrestlers looking
Okay.
for that, that one-on-one that they were used to in high school or college, and jiu-jitsu is a good switch for them because if you don't know jiu-jitsu, your MMA days are going to be short. So you can throw hands the best in the world, but if you can't fight on the ground, you're going to get beat. And yeah, most wrestlers gravitate towards the MMA ring and cage, and also they just walk in and say, "Hey, man, I'm a wrestler, and I've kind of watched MMA on TV a lot, and kind of want to get into it. And I missed the workout, and I'm like, well, good luck. Come on in."
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So they come into the gym, they start training with you, and they're wrestling. So they're probably used to. I wasn't much of a wrestler. I think I wrestled 1 year way back in the day, like 7th grade. But it's all about body weight and leverage, and and from what I understand about jiu-jitsu, pretty much the same thing. You're using the other person's body weight against them.
Exactly.
Try to get them in a compromising position that they put themselves into, and you just kind of take advantage of it. And then once they do that, you get them up and teach them basically how to throw hands, right? So, is there anybody right now that you're training or in your gym that you're like, this person's got a shot at getting their pro card and maybe doing some damage?
Oh yeah, we got Isaac Doolittle. Yesterday, that's why I was so busy. He had a tryout for a bare knuckle fighting championship, so took him down there for his tryouts. Did great. He had a bunch of people talking. I'm helping bare knuckle fighting championship put on a show in Salina, Kansas on October 10th. And I think they're going to put him on that card. So,
geez, I didn't even know that
we'll
the
see.
country.
He's a good kid, tough kid.
Yeah, I didn't even know they still allowed that in this country. I thought most people have banned the bare knuckle.
It did and went away, but now it's coming back.
Okay, it's making a comeback. Okay.
Well, it's legal in Kansas and Mississippi, and bare knuckle fighting championship 12s in Florida in a couple weeks. So yeah, it's starting to make a comeback.
Okay. So
it's one of the fastest growing. I mean, it took over the MMA world, so they're outgrowing the MMA now.
Wow, that's saying a lot. Holy cow, that's saying a real lot. So, all right, so you got this Isaac Doolittle on his way up. Keep an eye out for that name, folks. See if Sam can take him to the next level. So from there, we've got. Let's talk a little about your daughter and her pro. I've seen you put some videos up there on your Facebook and whatnot. She looks like I'm going to say it. She looks like a badass. I wouldn't mess with her. So tell us a little bit about how did she get into MMA, and then how as a father of a daughter, my daughter's 25, and I would, I'd scream and yell and cry, and I wouldn't know if I could be in her corner. I mean, I'd support whatever she wants to do, but watch someone else put hands on her, I'd be distraught. So how do you handle all that? So let's start with why she wanted to get into it, and B, how you handle it as a father, not just as her trainer and promoter, but how do you handle it as a father?
Well, I'll answer B first.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's probably what I would
hard
do.
to watch. She has walked out with big old black eyes and bloody, and yeah, I don't know how she loves it, but she does. But how she got into it, she followed me to the gym. She's always a high school wrestler. Even when she was at Watertown, New York, she was on that traveling cheerleading team, and she still wrestled. She kind of wrestled all the way through high school, and same story as the guys. When it was over, she wanted that competitive edge. She wanted more. So when I walked into that jiu-jitsu gym, she was right behind me, and yeah, she loved it. She's 10 times the athlete I ever was. She's a great athlete. She learns well. She listens, unlike somebody. Yeah. So, but she's semi-retired right now. She's going to make me a grandfather. So she had to put the gloves up for a few months now until she gives me my best gift I've ever wanted. And then she's going to, I'll see if she goes back to it.
There you go. Congratulations on that too. I saw that. Saw that just this morning, actually, post on Facebook. I'm like, oh, that's kind of cool. So grandfather, damn. Well, hopefully I'll have that honor someday too. So congrats on that. So when she followed you in the gym, did you ever anticipate her fighting like professionally, or did you just think, yeah, she likes it to stay at a workout? And was there ever a conversation where she's like, Dad, I want to do this for real?
Well, I could never coach my daughter. I'm dad. I'm always going to be dad. So I just won't. Joe Wilk was her coach, and
Okay.
Justin O-Town Overton, who's down in Oklahoma now, two of the greatest coaches I've ever met. And they handled her really well. Neither one of them have ever coached a girl before. They were her first female, their first female athlete. So there were some growing pains for both of those coaches as well on how to handle a female athlete. You know, they would walk up and you can slap a guy to get him pumped up. You slap her and she's going to slap you back. So
Right.
it just made her mad. She was a goofball anyway. So when she got in the ring, she was laughing and goofing, and that's just her style. It was fun for her.
And then when the whistle blows, she's all business.
Yes. Yep. And she goes into that zone, she's goofing around, and all of a sudden that bell, boom,
Yeah, it's amazing how some athletes can do that.
You know.
Yeah, because I remember a time in Watertown where we were chilling. You know, we used to sit under those stands when we got ready pregame, and coach was, I don't know, he was mad we weren't hype. You know, we were just kind of relaxed, and we were cracking jokes, and he was mad. He's screaming, why aren't you taking this more serious? Why aren't you taking this more serious? And I had to break the tension. So I just, I had my shoulder pads on. I just went, turtle. And the whole team, while, he's screaming, the whole team starts laughing. He's like, that's what I'm talking about. You're too loose. We end up smacking the shit out of the team. I'm just like, relax. Sometimes, some teams are just more fun, a little more, not every team has to be, I'm going to kick your ass. But once the whistle blows,
Yeah.
then we came to play. So that's kind of cool that she has that personality. When it's go time, she can just flip the switch and, make it happen. There's some dudes that they wake up chewing nails, and they have to be that way until the final whistle. So, it's good that she has the ability to turn that switch on.
Yeah, I was the same way. I was a goofball in the locker room and coaches yelling at me, especially in college, D1. I mean, high-priced coaches in there yelling at you, and I'm just a goofball.
So yeah, sometimes you just gotta, sports, especially today, sports are, some of it's taken way too serious. And I know there's billions of dollars on the line in today's economy in the sport world, but I think that's part of the problem. That's just not as, these guys aren't having as much fun anymore because there's more pressure to earn that $35 million a year contract than there is to just go out and play and, have a blast playing. So, it's good to see the joy of the game, no matter what sport it is, that's there. So you got a grandbaby on the way, which is awesome. And you said you just found out that it was going to be a boy, right? Did I remember that correctly?
Yeah.
Yep.
They named it after me, Sammy. So.
It'll be Sammy. Same middle, or is it going to be, or did you give it something new?
That's something new. So first name is mine, and middle name is Law's dad's.
You say Ross?
So named after both of us.
So it's going to be Samuel Ross?
Oh, Samuel Moffett. So it's named
Moffett.
after the son-in-law dad's name.
Gotcha. Okay. Caught out there for a minute. Sorry about that. All right. So that's very cool. So again, congrats to the whole family on that. So, so what do you see going forward here? So, she's semi-retired, as you said. And so what do you see for your gym? What do you see for your promoting? Are you working on any shows that are, or what would you call them, events, I guess, coming up here in the near future?
Yeah, we got the October 10th with the Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship. I'm assisting them with that. Good group of guys, but they're coming into my back door, so they using my venue, everything, because COVID everywhere.
Right.
It's hard for them to find a big venue, and so I graciously gave up mine to them to put on a big show. For me, we'll probably put on a show December with Bare Knuckle as well. We've kind of latched on with them, and it's going to be the Toe the Line series.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll be putting on fights with them. Kind of the AAA ball of the bare knuckle world will be us.
Okay.
I'm okay with that. That's where I like to.
Okay. And like I was going to say, that AAA that you referenced, that's kind of that level where the love of the sport and doing it for money is kind of not, it's converting at that point. It's not all about the money. It's all, so they're still loving the sport. And again, even no matter what sport it is, even baseball is the same way. You can kind of see the difference between once they hit that major league contract versus the player. Cause I grew up in a town that had, not too far away, the Syracuse Chiefs play. So we went and watched them play, and you can feel the difference between, the major league and that minor league affiliate. So that's
why
cool.
I love coaching football at high school. I mean, even you guys, and you did it for the love of the game. There was no money. Exactly. I mean, you knew you weren't going to get paid a huge salary at the end of every game or season. You just get because you love the game. Mm-hmm. That's why I love high school kids and semi-pro guys. I mean, you guys harassed me for a year, but especially Dougie, when I'm trying to call plays and he's not doing my plays, I can see him out on the field shaking his head when I run in a play. Come on, man. I hope he's watching this.
I hope he does too. I mean,
you didn't know I was a boxer, Dougie. Here I come, buddy.
That's funny. Yeah, I mean, listen, I had a quarterback who was a D1 QB for me, and him and I first couple games we were eye to eye, and then we just finally had a talk one day. He's like, "Listen, I'm going to call my own plays." I said, "I've never done that before," and we kind of moved into that, and he did well. I mean, there's at a point where as a coach you have to say, all right, that dude's seen more than I've seen, especially at that level. So I trusted him, because I think we were maybe 4 games in by that time. So the season was almost half over, and he took over and we did a great job. Took us to the final play of the championship. Unfortunately, we didn't win it, but it is what it is. I'm always the bridesmaid, man. But, so yeah, Dougie was an interesting character, man. That guy made practices fun. He's another one of those guys that was a knucklehead until he got between once he got under center, he was all business. But, as soon as you get to the sideline, he'll break your balls. As soon as the whistle balls get back outside, back between the lines, he's back to all business. But he's just, he definitely calmed the nerves in there. And yeah, we were, we broke. Wolf will tell you too. Wolf thought I was breaking his balls the first year I was there too, because I asked a lot of questions. Why are we doing it this way? Why are we doing it that way? So it just comes off when you change something up and we got questions. We're going most of us, the guys that have been around a bit, we're going to ask some questions and figure out why you want to do it that way. Mostly to learn, not to break balls, but mostly to see. Especially the cool thing about semi-pro in Watertown is we can get a coach from Arizona one year. We can get one from Colorado the next year. We can get one from, Alabama. You get one from Florida. They're all over the damn place. So you end up seeing a whole bunch of different ways how the America coaches the game, right? So constantly asking questions and trying to figure out how or why we did it that way opposed to how we used to do it. So, all right. So we've got some promotions coming up. We've got some bare knuckle stuff coming up. Let's talk about the topic that we always talk about and what's going on in America right now is this COVID thing. What have you seen as far as how has it changed your sport and how has it changed? Does it change the way you're training your athletes? Does it change the way you're promoting for your athletes? Kind of give us the all around of what the COVID outlook looks, in your sport.
Yeah. We tried it right in the middle of COVID. It was all pay-per-view, no audience. It didn't make any money. We broke even. We just wanted to get the fighters fighting again. Mm-hmm. Took precaution, taking their temperatures, making sure they're feeling well. Even if they have the sniffles or stuff, we're like, no, can't roll today. If it's allergies, you'll be okay tomorrow. So we'll see how you all tomorrow. Mm-hmm. So yeah, it's affected basically the training, a lot of the training. They don't get the wide open, let's just call in a guy from a different gym because he's a lefty and have you fight with him. Yeah, you gotta keep it safe for the athletes as much as you can. Especially wearing masks when people come in the building. Make everybody throw on a mask if we don't know them until they either decide and then we quarantine them. We kind of shove them over in the corner for a little bit and let them work out on their own and keep them away until they get that 10 days in. We're like, all right, you're not sick. Jump in with everybody else.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And how was it? So you said you had a pay-per-view. Again, we had a little audio break up there. So you said you had a pay-per-view. you broke even, but like how many people are normally on a pay-per-view card? And is that the first time you did a pay-per-view?
Normally we do ticket sales and pay-per-view.
Mm-hmm.
It kind of helps offset the cost, but in the fight, I donate all the money anyway. I don't, I'm a college professor at Kansas State University. I'm retired military, so I make good paychecks.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not worried about the promotion. So I just donate it all to veterans.
That's awesome.
But I at least like something to donate.
Right.
So that's a little tough to do. And yeah, you're barely breaking even. I got to pay everybody first before I can donate.
Right. Right. Yeah. So real quick, is there a way for the people watching the show to follow particular shows of yours or promotions of yours?
Never Surrender MMA on Facebook.
Okay. Never Surrender MMA on Facebook. Okay. So I'll post that below so that we can follow it. And yeah, I'll definitely look at for some of those shows too. I haven't been following them, but that'd be cool to watch. So any special projects coming up? You had already mentioned, the pay-per-view, but anything else outside of that you got going on? Too busy.
Not at the moment. Yeah, we after this first of the year, hopefully this COVID kind of calms down a little bit. And of course, we got the December show. We're shooting for December to put on a Toe the Line series show with an audience.
With an audience.
Yeah, we have to space them out 6 foot, or they get to buy a section. And so, yeah, we're trying to figure out a way to get audiences back in the buildings as well.
Okay, so you're going to offer like a family section or a friend section where they can group up and maybe 6 people or whatever the number is that's allowed by law at this time. So instead of 6,500, say that number, it was 6,500. You would end up with how many? Like 2,000?
Yeah, 2,000 or 3,000.
Okay, yeah. Okay, so that's cool. I mean, listen, we got to start somewhere, right? Until they finally decide, how severe this is going to be and how long they're going to allow people to be locked down, so to speak, as far as with masks and distancing and exactly. I hate to use the quotes, but that's kind of what it feels like right now, right? I think at this point, I just had this conversation with a friend last night. At this point, my opinion, and not that I'm a doctor, so don't anyone quote me on this, but at some point you just have to release the bonds, right? And say, humans have survived thousands of years passing along each other's germs, and we're still on the planet for now. It's going to happen. Yes, there's going to be casualties, but that's a human nature. That's human nature. I mean, and yes, we want to try to slow some of it down, but the reality is, at what cost? It seems like it's getting a bigger and bigger reason not to shut down based on all the reports that are coming out than what's been originally thought. Now, if it was the millions that they thought were going to die from back in March when they said it, that's a whole different story. But now the fact that, it's still in the 100,000, what's it? I think I saw 170 or something like that the other day, which is still a lot. We don't want to lose anybody, but the reality is we got to move on at some point, right? We can't keep wearing masks and closing businesses and staying 100 feet apart and whatever other crazy nonsense that gets put out there. So hopefully next year we figure it out, we move on, life can get back, and you can get back to promoting your shows and having, full arenas, and, small businesses can get back to running their businesses and having, so it seems like the only people making any money these days are those massive global companies like, I don't know, the one that starts with an A that everybody shops on. I love the site myself. Hey, I've been using it too. I mean, everybody uses it. I'm not down on them. They have the right business at the right time. That's all I'm saying. But let's.
I think change and start making masks or something. I don't know.
That's next, right? That's it. I mean, hey, how many millionaires are going to come out of this with as mask companies, right? Who knows? Mask and PPE. I've seen plastic shields that are like glasses now that cover the whole. So who knows? Who knows where this goes? But hopefully soon, and soon enough to where we can get back to normal. So, we're gonna help promote your show, right? Send me stuff in the future. Link it. I'll link it to our website. I'll link it to our shows. Whatever we can do to help, promote what you got going on. That's what this show's all about, is promoting fellow, semi-pro people, what they're doing today. So, don't be afraid to share your links with us and whatnot. And I'll make sure that I put up on our Facebook page as well. And, we'll put it on our other stuff like that too. So, Coach Grandpa Sam Kleinbeck, we appreciate you penciling in some time for us today. So we definitely appreciate you spending some time with us
What?
today. I know you got a whole bunch going on. You know, I'm wishing you the best of luck. Oh, listen, we got one last thing. I don't know. You weren't in semi-pro a long time, so let me see. We always ask our client or our guests one thing. The final
What's
question
that?
is, in your semi-pro days, and you can share college now, and you could share whatever level, were you ever in the middle of a unbelievably uncontrollable melee on the field?
Oh, not in semi-pro, no.
Not semi-pro?
Back in college days, yeah.
You had a nice little brawl. So what led up to that brawl?
Had
Can you share that story?
even the stands cleared. It was ugly.
What?
Yeah, but only once, and it was bad. It was a cheap shot, and
Oh, well, that's usually
coach came out, and coach got hit, and once another player hit our coach, it was over. The field swarmed. It was bad.
Wow, that kind of sounds like my first fight. Yeah, that's yeah, benches cleared. We had coaches that had broken noses. We had fans coming in spraying mace. It was a pretty ugly sight. So, all right. So, well, see, football, it just comes with the territory, right? You know, eventually you play long enough.
But you can't call me just a coach for semi-pro. I did play one game, if you remember.
You did. What position did you play?
Yeah, we went to Orange County.
Oh,
and none of our defensive linemen showed up.
Oh, right.
So
was that the
coach
game?
Looks at me and said,
"Was that the game we dressed in tents in the middle of a puddle in Orange County?
Yes.
Where it poured like a bitch."
Yep.
Okay. Now, yeah.
Oh, it was awful.
Yeah, I remember now. Yeah. So technically,
so I was playing defense as a defensive lineman, then coming out and coaching offense.
Oh, that's awesome.
So yeah, it was.
That's
bad.
That's semi-pro, baby, right there. Pulling them.
Yeah, I was ready.
Pulling from the sidelines. Hey, coach, we know you haven't worked out in a little while, but hey, you're gonna go suit up and play D-line for us tonight. How's that sound? Yeah, perfect. That's good.
Yeah. I couldn't move for like 3 weeks, man. It was bad. I was so sore.
That's hilarious. I totally forgot about that. See, I've played so many games and so long with so many people that some of the stories have just. I really wish that like YouTube and whatnot had come out when I first started playing, because I would have documented more. I always wish I would have wrote a book from the first day I practiced through. There's so many crazy stories that I remember, let alone that I forgot. You know, that would have been great to, you know, just share now. You know, that's what some of this is too, is get some of those crazy stories out and have people remind us of stuff they did, like pulling a coach off the sideline to play in the game, stuff like that. That's you know, miss that stuff. But again, I appreciate you hopping on here, spending some time with us on your Sunday. Yeah, we got a late start on this one, but you know, I hope I wish nothing but the best for you, your family, your grandson to be, your MMA career, both promoting and gym. You got a lot going on, my man.
Thanks, sir.
No, thank you.
And if people need a good story about you, how you got into coaching, remember I was that guy swinging the whistle at you when you hurt your knee your last year.
Oh, you were there for my knee, weren't you? Oh, damn.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's true. It's yeah.
You're like, what am I going to do? And I'm swinging the whistle at you just like my high school coach did.
Between you and Wolf, I didn't want to coach. And Wolf
really?
Wolf started it. I wanted nothing to do with it. And then you pushed it into, and I'm just like, all right, two of these knuckleheads think I should coach. Maybe I ought to actually try it. So, you know.
I mean, how many tight ends you get when you're in the huddle and the tight end's talking about, hey, I'm seeing this on the defense. You're like, this guy needs to be a coach. When my tight end's telling you what he's seeing on defense, yeah.
I mean, that
guy needs to be a coach.
That's what you need to do. And I thought that's what all players were supposed to do. I just tried to tell you what the lineups were, when I moved, what they did, you know, just natural. I don't know. It just seemed natural to me, I guess. I don't know. But I appreciate the urge. Because like I said, I keep telling Wolf, if it wasn't for guys like you, I wouldn't be sitting here doing this today, because I would have stopped playing that year. I hurt my knee, and it would have been done, and I would have gone on and been a, you know, glory days guy. But you know, at least now I can, you know, share the stories. And you know, I had a lot of, you know, I think I had 7 or 8 years of coaching. So, you know, who knows? Maybe I'll end up doing that again too once this COVID thing goes away. We'll see.
Good for you, and I appreciate this show, man. It's nice to see all the guys that I haven't seen in years, like Wolf and all those guys. And so, absolutely, yeah, thanks for doing this, brother.
No, absolutely appreciate you watching, and appreciate the support. And you know, if anything I can do to help your show and your MMA and your promotion, you know, again, just let us know.
All right, maybe I'll have you come down and do some announcing.
There you go. That'd be awesome. I want to do that for football games. So I don't know much about MMA, but I'll do some studying. I'll be like, damn, that looks like that hurts. If you want like a layman's version of a broadcast, I can definitely do that for you.
Yeah, Joe Rogan started somewhere,
That's
right?
right. That'd be a blast, actually. You let me know. I'm up for that. That could be a riot.
All right.
All right, Coach.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
Absolutely. All right. Well, I appreciate your time, my man. Get back to that family of yours, and we definitely appreciate you joining us today.
All right. Thank you.
All right.